The summer I turned 15, Willow Creek, Colorado felt like the center of the universe. Our small town, nestled between pine-covered hills and the shimmering Willow Lake, was the kind of place where everyone knew your name and your business. I was Sophia Bennett, a sophomore at Willow Creek High, with a penchant for sketching sunsets and sneaking extra cookies from my mom's bakery. Life was predictable, until Ethan Carter walked into my homeroom. Ethan was the new kid, a rare occurrence in our tight-knit town. He had tousled chestnut hair, green eyes that sparkled like the lake at dusk, and a quiet confidence that made heads turn. I noticed him immediately, not just because he was handsome, but because he carried himself with a kindness that felt genuine. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, and that made him stand out. One crisp September afternoon, I spotted him sitting alone under the oak tree in the school courtyard, flipping through a worn-out novel. My heart did a little flip. I wasn't usually bold, but something pushed me forward. I adjusted my backpack, took a deep breath, and walked over. "Hi, I'm Sophia," I said, my voice shakier than I'd hoped. "Mind if I join you?" He looked up, his smile warm and disarming. "Hey, Sophia. I'm Ethan. Sure, have a seat." We talked for hours that day, about everything and nothing, books, music, the way the mountains looked at sunrise. It was easy, like we'd known each other forever. That was the start of our friendship, a spark that would soon light up my world. The days that changed everything. Ethan and I became inseparable. After school, we'd wander the streets of Willow Creek, our sneakers crunching on gravel paths as we headed to my mom's bakery, Sweet Haven, for warm brownies. We'd do homework at the town library, whispering jokes between math problems, or sit by Willow Lake dreaming about the future. I wanted to be an artist. He wanted to build houses, sturdy homes where families could make memories. We laughed until our sides hurt, and with him, I felt like the best version of myself. One Friday, Ethan texted me, "Want to catch a movie tomorrow? That new comedy looks good." My heart raced. Was this a date? I spent an hour picking out a denim jacket and jeans, trying to look effortlessly cool. We met at the Starlight Cinema, a cozy theater in downtown Willow Creek. The movie was hilarious, but the real magic was sharing a giant bucket of popcorn, our fingers brushing occasionally, sending sparks through me. Afterward, we strolled through Riverside Park, the fairy lights twinkling above us. When Ethan took my hand, my pulse skyrocketed. I couldn't stop smiling. That night, I lay awake, replaying every moment. I liked Ethan, really liked him. But did he feel the same? The thought of telling him made my stomach churn. What if I ruined everything? A confession by the lake. A few weeks later, we were at Willow Lake, the water reflecting a golden sunset. We sat on a blanket, tossing pebbles into the ripples, the air filled with the scent of pine and possibility. Ethan seemed nervous, fidgeting with a blade of grass. "Sophia," he said, his voice low, "I need to tell you something." My heart thudded. Was something wrong? I braced myself, hands clenching the edge of the blanket. He looked at me, his green eyes intense. "I like you, Sophia. Like a lot. More than just a friend." Relief and joy flooded me. I grinned, my cheeks burning. "I like you too, Ethan. A lot." We laughed, the tension melting away. That day, under the fading sunlight, Ethan became my boyfriend. It felt like the world had shifted, like every song on the radio was written for us. The golden days being with Ethan was like living in a dream. We spent weekends exploring Willow Creek, picnics at Meadowview Park, bike rides along the Aspen Trail, stargazing in his backyard. He'd tease me about my terrible aim when we played frisbee, and I'd mock his obsession with cheesy action movies. At school, we'd steal glances in the hallway, passing notes in history class. He was kind, always listening when I rambled about art or my fears about the future. He made me feel seen, special, like I could do anything. For my 16th birthday, Ethan gave me a silver locket shaped like a star. Inside was a tiny photo of us, laughing at the county fair. "So you'll always remember I'm with you," he said. I hugged him, tears in my eyes, and wore that locket every day. I loved him, fiercely, completely. But love, I learned, isn't always smooth. One rainy afternoon, we argued over something silly, maybe whose turn it was to pick the movie. Words flew, sharp and careless. I stormed off, hurt and angry, tears mixing with the rain. That night, I cried into my pillow, wondering if we'd messed it all up. The next day, Ethan showed up at my door, his hair damp from the drizzle. "I'm sorry, Sophia," he said, his voice soft. "I hate fighting with you." "I'm sorry too," I whispered. We hugged, promising to talk things out next time. And just like that, we were back to being us. Stronger, even. A heartbreaking goodbye. The next summer, everything changed. Ethan's dad got a job offer in Seattle, Washington, over 1,000 miles away. When he told me, it felt like the ground had vanished beneath me. "We're moving in 2 weeks," he said, his voice breaking. I cried, and he held me, promising we'd make it work. Those last days were a blur of bittersweet moments. We revisited our favorite spots: the bakery, the lake, the park, holding hands, laughing through tears. On his final day in Willow Creek, I gave him a framed sketch I'd drawn of us by the lake. "So you'll never forget me," I said, echoing his words from my birthday. "I'll always love you, Sophia," he said, his eyes glistening. "We'll see each other again." We hugged until my chest ached, and then he was gone, his family's car disappearing down the road. The distance between us. At first, we were determined to stay close. We wrote long emails, sent texts, and called whenever we could. I'd tell him about school, my art projects, the new barista at Sweet Haven. He'd share stories about Seattle, his new school, the way the city lights looked at night. But distance is a thief. Over time, the emails grew shorter, the calls less frequent. We were both busy, me with art club, him with soccer and new friends. I missed his laugh, his steady presence, but life kept pulling us forward. One night, Ethan called. His voice was heavy. "Sophia, we need to talk." My heart sank. I knew what was coming. "I love you," he said, "but we're growing apart. It's not fair to either of us to keep holding on like this." I cried, but deep down, I knew he was right. We said goodbye, promising to stay friends, but it felt like losing a piece of myself. That night, I clutched the star locket, my heart breaking all over again. Moving forward, holding on. The months that followed were hard. I missed Ethan every day. The way he'd hum off key, the way he'd make me laugh until I couldn't breathe. But I threw myself into my life. I painted, filled canvases with vibrant colors and raw emotion. I hung out with my friends, Mia and Lucas, who dragged me to football games and ice cream runs. Slowly, the ache dulled, though it never fully left. I kept Ethan's locket, wearing it when I needed courage. His letters stayed in a box under my bed, a reminder of our love, our laughter, our tears. He was my first love, and that would always mean something. Years passed. I graduated high school and moved to Denver for college, studying art at the University of Colorado. I made new friends, went on dates, even fell in love again with a guy named Noah, a musician with a gentle smile. But Ethan remained a quiet part of shine of my heart, a memory I couldn't erase. One snowy afternoon in my sophomore year, a letter arrived. My hands trembled as I opened it. Ethan's handwriting, familiar even after years, stared back at me. "Dear Sophia, I hope you're doing well. I've been thinking about you, about Willow Creek, about us. You were my first love, and those days we spent together are some of my happiest memories. I'm living in Portland now, working as an architect's apprentice. I hope life is treating you kindly. You'll always have a piece of my heart. Love, Ethan," I smiled, tears welling up. I was happy. Happy he was chasing his dreams. Happy he remembered me. I wrote back, a short note wishing him well, and tucked his letter away with the others. A heart full of love. Now, at 21, I'm engaged to Noah. He's kind, funny, and loves my quirks. He knows about Ethan, my first love, and he understands. My heart has grown, making room for new love while cherishing the old. Ethan will always be a part of me, a beautiful, bittersweet memory that shaped who I am. Love, I've learned, is a journey. It's messy, painful, and breathtakingly beautiful. It teaches you to be brave, to forgive, to grow. Ethan was my first lesson in love, and though we're worlds apart, I'll always carry him with me. My star locket still hangs around my neck, a reminder that love, in all its forms, is the heartbeat of life. Life moves on, but first love lingers. It's the laughter by the lake, the warmth of a hand in yours, the ache of goodbye. It's the courage to love again, knowing how much it can hurt. My first love taught me that love is worth every tear, every smile, every moment. And in Willow Creek, under the stars, a piece of my heart will always belong to Ethan.